Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of our concert review show. Today, we're going to look back at last night's Rolling Stones concert at the MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Okay, part two or night two of a two-night stint at the old Giant Stadium, now called MetLife Stadium, home of the New York Giants. Okay, and the New York Jets football teams, right? New York, New Jersey, whatever you want to call them. They play in Jersey, but they're both New York football teams, whatever. Anyway, the Stones had to postpone their tour for a little bit because Mick had that little heart surgery procedure he had to have done. So, but here they are, 2 months after the original date. So this concert was supposed to be held in the middle of June. Here we are in early August. Not that much of a wait, right? Mick is a freak of nature, man. They look like nothing ever happened with him. So it was a nice night. Weather was perfect, not too hot, not too humid. All right, nice little breeze down there at the stadium. God, I don't know how many people were there last night, but sure as hell looked like 70, 80,000 people, right? It crammed them all in there. And a good set list, a different set list by a few songs from the show that they did on the 1st of August. Last night was the 5th. Couple changes of tunes. Some of the songs were in a different order than they played them the other night. It's always cool to see bands playing different set lists from a night-to-night perspective. So I guess if you had gone to both nights, you would have been treated to kind of a lot of different tunes, which is good. So, but most of the classics you'd expect to hear were covered. They didn't go on till almost 9:30. I think it was like 9:25 or something like that. So they had an opening act, Willie Nelson's son, which I didn't happen to catch. But I went in at I think it was 8:30, and we had to wait for almost an hour for the Stones to come on. And they like I said, they went on about 9:25. Jumped right into Jumpin' Jack Flash. Kind of the stage was really cool. It had these 4 big screens, but they were rectangular, long and rectangular, and that's where you can kind of, obviously if you were sitting up top like I was, up in section 332, you're looking at the stage, big stage, and they had the stage was shaped, it was a long stage, and it had the big long area where they could kind of walk out and play, or run around and whatever in front of where the crowd on the floor was sitting, which was kind of neat. But obviously if you're sitting up top, huge stadium, they look like little ants, right? So you got the screens would kind of help you see a bit. And they jumped right into Jumpin' Jack Flash, which is cool. Great way to kick off the show. People going nuts, everybody getting into it, singing along, whatever. And then they switched gears to a more newer track, from the last 20 years, obviously, 25 years. You Got Me Rockin', which is a great tune. One of the Stones' heavier songs. Again, this guy, I've talked about this a million times. You get these people who only really know the radio hits, right? And so a song like that, they launch into a song like You Got Me Rockin', and people are like, I don't know what this is. Let me sit down, let me go on my phone, and let me go run to the bathroom or run to the bar, run to the beer stand and get something to drink. And I'm like, come on, people. This is one of the Stones' best, more modern tunes. It's such a great rockin' song, but anyway. And then next up is Tumbling Dice. And people are like, oh, yeah, I know that one. Everybody stands up, right? Just gets into it, pulls out the phones, got to record this and shit, whatever. And that was great. And then they played the Harlem Shuffle, which is kind of something, pull that one out of the vaults. They haven't played that live in a long time. That was fun. And then, I guess what they do every night on this tour is they do a one song by request. So they give you 4 choices, and you go online and you vote for it or something like that. So they had Monkey Man and 3 other tunes, all good tunes, and thankfully Monkey Man got picked. So they launched into Monkey Man, which was one of the highlights of the evening for me, because I'm a big fan of Monkey Man, and I thought it came across really, really good. I gotta say, I'll say it again, Mick sounded great the whole show. Energetic, running around, very dynamic on the vocals. The guy's 70-something years old. And while, he doesn't sing exactly like he did back in the 70s, it's damn, for a guy who's in his 70s, he sure sounded really good last night. All right, he was all over the place. You got Ronnie Wood and Keith Richards out there. Keith for most of the show, I kind of was God, Keith is barely moving. He's like a statue up there. But halfway through the set, he started to get into it a little bit more. Charlie Watts, ever steady on the drums. You got a very competent band, 2 horn players. You got Daryl Jones on bass. You got 2 keyboard players. You got a couple of backing singers. Just really, really good, tight band. What else? After Monkey Man, You Can't Always Get What You Want. Okay, everybody's singing along right with it. Then we move into the four main guys come in all the way in front of that stage. Like I said, that big long walkway that goes to the out to the floor to do a little like mini acoustic set. So you got Charlie's got a little kid out there, and you got the other three with acoustic guitars. They played "Let It Bleed," which was a lot of fun, and then "Dead Flowers," which I'm a huge Dead Flowers fan. That was good. That was another highlight of the evening for me. I really loved everybody singing along, really good. Then they left that spot, went back to the main stage, and cranked out the guitars for Sympathy for the Devil. All right, Keith playing lots of slashing lead guitar work on his was it Gibson Melody Maker, I believe it was, and that was good. Another really good song that just got the crowd totally into it. They followed that up with Honky Tonk Woman, which was a lot of fun. Okay, people just getting up, getting into it, whatever, and then so Mick goes to the back for a little rest for a couple tunes, and Keith comes up to the mic with Ron for a little acoustic thing. You Got the Silver, which is a great tune. And again, I'm looking around me at all these people of all ages. There was a lot of young people at this show, a lot of people my age, a lot of people older, and it's just amazing how for all the big radio hits, Sympathy for the Devil, Honky Tonk Woman, everybody's up and whatever. They're just like, oh, everybody's filming with their cameras and whatever. And then You Got the Silver comes on, and everybody's like, oh, okay, I don't know what this is. Everybody sits down on the phone. Let me check out for the next 5-10 minutes because I don't know what this song is. Run into the bathroom, running to get beer, or just sitting on their thumbs and whatever. It's just so they played that, which was really cool. Then they played Before They Make Me Run. Keith again on vocals. Then Mick comes back out. You start to hear the kind of disco-y sounds of Miss You, which got everybody all fired up again, which was that was a lot of fun. I love that tune. That was cool. Everybody singing along. And then another highlight of the evening, the extended romp of Midnight Rambler, that was a lot of fun. Okay, it was really cool to experience that live once again. So an early tune for them, kind of bluesy, not kind of bluesy, very bluesy, with some great guitar work from Ronnie and Keith. Really cool vocal interplay with Mick in the audience, a little harmonica here and there too. It was really cool. Then they launched into an old track, Painted Black. So all of a sudden the psychedelic times came up, and you had all these cool effects on the screen. All the guys were in like gray and silver, and pretty cool. Then the '80s anthem, Start Me Up. Okay, just kind of neat. That went into Brown Sugar. A lot of fun. And then of course for the encore, you got a spirited version of Gimme Shelter. Okay, my favorite Stones track of all time. And then to finish it all off, of course, they couldn't leave the stage without playing I Can't Get No Satisfaction, right? Everybody goes home happy. Show ended about 11:30ish, so they actually went over that 11 o'clock time, so obviously they had to be paying the union men a little bit extra to tear everything down last night. But I think everybody went home happy. So all in all, a really good show. Like I said, the band, they are what they are. My buddy said that they were... He had never seen them before. He goes, they were really good, but they were pretty sloppy live. I'm like, yeah, that's the Stones, though, But I thought, though, despite all that, because they got this kind of laid back thing going on, but the band itself is very tight. They got some great supporting musicians, who are really good. Chuck Leavall on piano and keyboards, who's I guess the guy he's been kind of like the musical arranger of the band for so many years. Did a fine job as always. And the guy, they just they look great. They sounded great. They're so old, but it's like they're still doing it. So it was a good time. I'm glad to have finally seen them again for the first time since 1989, so it's been 30 years. I wanted to go see them at least one more time before they either pack it in or, one of them passes away or whatever. So I'm happy that I went. But, that comes with a caveat, right? So here's my little rant of the day. Not tied into their performance, okay? So I've been to many a stadium show in my life. Many. And I think where I'm at this point is like I tend to, with all those people, and you're sitting so high up and you're feeling kind of detached from the bands. And let's face it, a lot of people go to concerts nowadays, and I'm not just picking on the young people, because there's a lot of people my age there who people just act like assholes at concerts. I don't understand. I don't get how people think, oh, just because they paid money to buy a ticket, that they can go and disrespect and shit on everybody. Okay, no respect for anybody or anything or property or anything like that. I mean, some of the shit that I saw last night, I was just like, my God. It's like I don't have a tolerance for, 20 something, 30 something people going to a concert and getting completely shit-faced drunk and like ruining other people's property and throwing garbage all over the place and pissing in between cars. And when you got, all you got to do is walk 30 seconds to porta potties, all right, breaking bottles around and just, not giving a shit that they're in someone's way, all right, at the seats, guzzling beer like it's going out of style during the entire performance, so you got to go up and pee every 10 minutes. And we're all packed in there like sardines. These are rows of like 20, 30 people, so then you got to go disrupt everybody back and forth. And then these people who were like, there was a woman 2 rows in front of me who had to get up and dance. We're sitting all the way up top. You don't need to stand up to see, but every song that she knew, she had to get up, and she's like, she's got her e-cigarette going on. She's got the phone in this hand. At one point, she's recording. She's videotaping the song while she's dancing, and just like, and I'm looking and I'm like, what is she recording? She's recording the backs of people's heads and the sky. And it's like, she's going to go home and watch that? What is she going to see? It's just, and I'm like, put the fucking phone away. It's like, gee, and so many people spend the whole evening recording, watching through the phone. It's just never ending. It's never ending. And I'm like, God, just enjoy the show, people. Act your age. I'm amazed at the lack of respect for anybody that so many people have nowadays. I mean, there was a crew of guys in the parking lot next to where we were, that what I was seeing was just unbelievable. These guys drank like 2 gigantic bottles of vodka and beers, and they were just guzzling it, and they're sitting there and they're hooting and hollering at every woman that walked by, and they're just, people are looking at them like, what the fuck is wrong with you, right? And it's just like, they're taking their empties and throwing them under people's cars, throwing them on people's cars, and when they went inside, they left their shit all over the place. And I'm just like, God, it's like, when did we become savages in public places? I just don't get it. And it's just like, I guess where I'm at in my life, I'm like, my tolerance level for that is like it's minimal. And as much as I like to go see live music and go see bands I love, I'm like, is it really worth it? Because I got to deal with that for 4 hours. Everywhere you go, people all around you just like acting like lunatics. And I'm like, Jesus. So anyway, that's my little rant for today. But otherwise, the Stones were great. All right, it was a great concert. It was fun. I'm glad I got to see them one more time, because I don't think tickets are a lot of money, and I'm glad I saw this. This is a good way to go out. So I have a fresh memory of this, as opposed to 30 years ago when I went to see them at the old Shea Stadium and just went just to go, and I wasn't a fan at all, and just got, drunk and just wandered around, right? I sat and watched the whole thing, paid attention to. It was cool. They were great, and I'm glad I went. So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube every single day. So guess what, guys? We'll see you tomorrow yet again. Have a good one. Bye-bye.